So, you want bigger biceps to impress all the ladies? Well, I've got good and bad news. The good news is I can get you the bigger biceps, that's a promise. The bad news is they're more likely to impress all your gym bros and not the ladies. And ladies, don't worry, I won't leave you out, the same principles apply. Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Peter and I'm a physiotherapist and dedicated gym rat. Let's take a look at Kirsty, my girlfriend. Now, she's permanently shredded. I know, right? It's not fair. But on the flip side, she finds it really tricky to gain weight and build muscle. She has been consistent for around 10 months now, and just look at the results. Yes, they could be slightly better if she had better nutrition, but hey, none of us get it right from the start, and she's doing it a lot better than I did when I first started. Now, if you're a guy, you can expect to build more muscle than if you're a girl. That's just how it is. However, don't expect to look like Sebum after 30 days or even a year of training. He is freak genetics and will look a lot better natural than most would look on The Secret Sauce, which I highly advise you stay well clear of. Again, a story for another day. So, onto the biceps, the reason you're here. First clue is they're called biceps, not monoceps, which means there are two of them on each arm. One long one and one short one. You won't get massive guns if you don't target them both together and isolate them. Quick anatomy lesson. Yes, I know this might not sound like much fun, but trust me, your shirt will not be able to hold in the guns after this. The long head, or the peak as we like to call it, is on the outside. It starts above the shoulder joint on the supraglenoid tubercle of the scapula and ends below the elbow on the radial tuberosity. The short head starts on the apex of the coracoid process at the front of the scapula and runs down the inside and ends in the same place as the long head, just below the elbow. The important part is the long head goes over the outside and top of the shoulder, and the short head takes a shortcut round the front. Now we know this, we need to take a closer look at what they do. We know that they both bend the elbow. I mean, come on, that bit's obvious. Everyone loves a bicep curl, but I'll show you how to supercharge them. Now the bit that many don't know much about and fewer know how to utilize is the impact the biceps have on the shoulder and vice versa. The short head is connected to the front of the shoulder blade, so it helps stabilize the shoulder. Not too important when it comes to getting massive guns. The long head, however, assists in shoulder flexion, or lifting the arm out in front of you. Very useful bit of information, as you'll see later on in the video. There's one more thing that the biceps do. If we look closely at the angles of the fibers, when they shorten, it will drive your wrist into what we call supination. Let's look at how this works. Now, this does require you to get your guns out, so bear with me for a second. So, guns out, turn your palms down, bend your arms to 90 degrees with them tucked in by your side. Now, keeping your elbows dead still, turn your wrists to face upwards, so wrist supination. You can see your biceps contracting and you didn't even move your elbow. Now you can take this one step further and raise your elbows out in front of you and you'll feel your biceps wanting to explode. I'm going to show you how to take all of this new knowledge you now possess and use it to get massive. Putting it all together, we're going to need to do heavy curls, some with your elbows out in front of you, some with your elbows behind you, some with wrist supination, and there'll even be variations with shoulders turned in and shoulders turned out. Stick around to the end. I'll also include a secret cheat code to make your biceps look bigger. Spoiler alert, it's not the biceps. There's no secret recipe when it comes to training the biceps. They respond like every other muscle, so all the principles to build muscle still apply. I know, shock, right? We need enough protein, we need to progressively overload, we need to focus on the eccentric, so the way down, and we need to hit them 2 to 3 times a week for a total of 10 to 20 sets to an RP of 8 to 10. Now that means 2 reps left in the tank, all the way to failure. You can use whatever split you like. We'll be going past failure on the last set of every exercise. Now the evidence behind this is conflicting. Shocker, right? All evidence is. Some studies show more muscle building when going past failure. Some show that 1 to 2 reps in the tank is better. What I've found is doing a combination of both. So taking the best of both worlds. Don't take every set to failure, but take the last set to and even past failure. Right, let's put all of this into action. We'll be training the biceps 3 times a week. On day 1, start off with standing barbell curls. Now go heavy on this one. Do 8 clean reps, but only have 1 rep left in the tank. So if someone were to walk up and hold a gun to your head, you would only be able to do 1 more rep. Do this for 2 sets with 1.5 minutes rest in between. The last set, when you fail, and it might be around the 6 rep range, because you're fatigued from the previous sets, lean forward slightly and cheat the rep up. Don't go past the vertical when you cheat. Now it's up, take 3 to 5 seconds on the way down. Do this for 3 reps or until the weight just drops, no matter how much you try and fight it. Next, we're going to use the principle of the elbow behind the body and wrist supination to hit the long head of the bicep with seated incline hammer curls. We'll be working in the 8 to 12 rep range with an RPE of 9 for 2 sets with 1.5 minutes in between. For maximum gains from this exercise, make sure your elbows are behind your body at all times and that your shoulders are not externally rotated. Rotating the shoulder externally will take the stretch off of the long head of the bicep. Check yourself by making sure your hands are directly in front of you and not out to the side. For the 3rd and final set, when you reach failure, do partial reps in the bottom portion of the range. Stretch partials may just give you the edge you're looking for to fill out that shirt you plan to wear on that date you're too scared to ask for. We'll be staying on the bench for the next one, the spider curl. This places your elbows out in front of your body and will hit the short head, making the guns wider. This time round, we'll be doing partial reps as part of the set, so do 1 full rep followed by 1 partial rep in the lengthened position, to the point where you reach failure, and then from there, do 2 to 3 reps in the stretch partial range. A pro tip here is to keep the wrist bent back to stop the forearms helping out. For day 2, we will start off with seated hammer curls with dumbbells. Another pro tip. Grip the dumbbell right up against the end where your thumb is. Doing this will increase the lever, making supination harder. When you're doing these, rotate the weight to 90 degrees in the middle of the rep and past 90 at the top. Add in shoulder flexion right at the top of the rep for a better squeeze. Do 2 sets of between 8 and 12 reps to an RPE of 9, and the last set will go all the way to failure. Next up, to the cables to build the peaks. We'll do single arm curls with elbows out behind you. For this exercise, we'll be doing something slightly different and we will just be doing heavy stretch partials. So yeah, you heard it, no complete reps in this set, and we'll do 8 to 12 reps and control the eccentric phase. Next, we'll hit the short head using shoulder rotation to isolate. Pro tip, when looking in the mirror, if you turn your arms before you start, the muscle you see will be the muscle you target. So turning your arms in and you'll see the long head, and out you'll see the short head. We'll do 2 sets of W curls, first to an RPE of 9 and the second to an RPE of failure, with 2 to 3 stretch partials to finish off. Now there will be another muscle to train in each of these days, but stick around to find out how. So on to day 3, and I know you won't be expecting this one. We'll be doing lat pull downs. But what, Pete? That's a back exercise. I know, but if we tweak it slightly, we can really smash the short head of the biceps. So supinate your wrists, palms towards you, and instead of leading with the elbow pulling down, lighten the weight and pull your wrists towards your forehead. But before you knock yourself out, allow the elbows to lower down just a little bit, keeping them out in front of you, and picture putting your palm on your shoulder for the end position. Now you can let your elbows drop slightly below, and that's also alright. We'll be doing 3 sets, 2 to an RPE of 9, and 1 including stretch partials when you reach that failure point. Next, we'll do barbell drag curls, keeping the elbows back to hit the long head. For this one, make sure you extend the wrist to stop your forearms taking over. Your traps might also want to join the party, so try keeping them still, either shrugged or more preferably pushed down. Do 2 sets of 8 to 12 reps, one to an RPE of 9 and the other to failure. And when you reach failure, cheat the bar up and do 3 slow eccentrics, 3 to 5 seconds each. The last bicep exercise will be easy bar preacher curls. Do 2 sets, both to failure and both including 2 to 3 stretch partials. Work on failing at the 5 to 6 rep range and then going into the partials. Now, about the secret muscle. It's called the brachialis. This sits just beneath the long head and its only job is to flex the elbow. Now we can grow this to make our biceps look bigger. The way we do this is with neutral or even reverse grip curls. This will take as much of the stretch off of the biceps, taking it out of the movement and allowing for more stretch on the brachialis. Use a combination of ropes on the cable, neutral grip dumbbell, or what we refer to as hammers, and reverse grip easy bar curls. Do 4 sets of one of these on each of the days you train biceps. Take one of these sets to failure and include stretch partials. Another option is to add in 3 reps of the classic bro bicep exercise, aka the worst bicep exercise ever, but great for cheat reps for the brachialis. When you fail on a reverse grip curl, do a normal bicep curl or a hammer curl, then pronate the wrist so palms down and do a slow 3 to 5 second eccentric to burn out the brachialis on your last set. Do this consistently for 30 days. Now at some point it's going to get easier. So to keep the gains coming, you'll need to up the difficulty. This is what we call progressive overload. You can do it by increasing the weight, upping the reps, or even cleaning up your form. If you're an experienced gym rat, the gains will probably be less dramatic. However, if you're a newbie lifter, then be prepared to spend all your money on new t-shirts. But all jokes aside, consistency is the key. Neither of us will look like Sam Sulek after 30 days. But trust me, you can be a bigger version of yourself, and that's the only comparison you'll ever need to make. If you liked the video, please smash that thumbs up button and get the tape measure out. Measure your arms today and put a comment down below. Tell Siri to remind you in 30 days to remeasure and let me know how much girth you've gained. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've learned something. If you have, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And go check out some of my other videos on the channel. There's a lot more where this came from. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.